everybody. Welcome to the Saturday NBC Game of the Week. We are now at June the 12th, 1982. And of course, as this is being presented, it is June 12th, 2021 on a Saturday afternoon, 2 o'clock Eastern. That was the time frame back when I was a kid, 2 o'clock Eastern. You dropped everything and turned on the TV, and there was usually Joe Garagiola and Tony Kubek, or either Bob Costas or one of those guys. One of the crew would be in there doing that. All right, now that we're at June 12th, I decided to go ahead and print the standings that the Strat-O-Matic computer is simming for both leagues. Of course, we're doing the American League today, Cleveland and Boston from Fenway, but also I've got the standings printed out for the National League as well. If you look at the National League standings, you can see that Atlanta has got a pretty good hold on the Western Division of the National League. The Dodgers are 7 back. Houston, surprisingly, is only 9 back, but a team like San Francisco is way below their, well, actually only 5 games under what they were before, but San Diego is 9 games under what they were before. Atlanta is actually right on time, 34-21 in actuality, 35-20 on the replay. So Atlanta had this big lead, and apparently throughout the season, the Dodgers must have whittled away at it to narrow that lead. The interesting race maybe is in the Eastern Division, where 3 teams are right there together. And surprisingly, the Cardinals are 6 games less than what they were before. They're 9.5 games out. Philadelphia surprisingly in front of the Expos by 3, and the surprising Pirates by 4.5. Pirates 10 games over in the replay, 4 games under at this point in the actual season. So they're definitely overperforming. Let's look at the American League, and we'll see that the Boston Red Sox are definitely getting it done. They lead the Eastern Division by 7 games over Detroit and Milwaukee. Cleveland's 8 back along with Baltimore. Toronto and the Yankees way back. And actually, Boston did start the season pretty well. They were 36-20 at this point in real life, only 2 games better. But a team like Baltimore, well, they're only 1 game difference, so they must have crept up and did something late in the season to catch up. Detroit a little bit behind what they were before. They're 5 games different. But everybody else is pretty much the same. So I think, I haven't gone back to look at the season, but according to this, at this point in the season, Boston and Detroit had a big lead on everybody else, and I guess they folded toward the end of the season. It's a long season after all. And then in the West, before I move it, in the West, Kansas City, California, Chicago, 3-team race right there together. So that could go down to the wire all season long. All right, so I just wanted to show that. So that's what the Strat-O-Matic computer is doing on those. So, you know, depending on how much you trust the Strat-O-Matic computer PC game to simulate accurately, but that's what we have. Let's look at the starting pitchers for today's game. For the Boston Red Sox, it'll be right-hander Mike Torres. And Torres was 9-9 with a ERA of 5.23. He'll be opposed by John Denny, and he was 6-11 with a 5.01 ERA. So both starting pitchers ERA over 5, which of course means this game's going to be 2-1. The actual game was 6-4. Boston won it. We'll bring in the starting lineups here on the score sheet so that you can see what we have going on for both teams. Mike Hargrove is going to lead off for Cleveland at first base. Toby Harrop bats second. Von Hayes third. Andre Thornton cleanup. Ron Hassey fifth. Rick Manning sixth. Miguel Delaunay seventh. Jack Perconti eighth. And Mike Fischlin ninth. For the Red Sox, Remy at second. Evans in right. Rice in left. Yastrzemski the DH. Carney Lansford at third. Stapleton at first. Gedman catching. Hoffman at short. And Rick Miller in center. The ballpark effects for Fenway, 1-19 for singles, so you're going to get your singles out of that. Home runs a little bit different. For lefties, 1-4. Righties are 1-10. All right, so we'll get this game going here at Fenway. Mike Hargrove will be standing in against Mike Torres, Battle of the Mikes, to start things off. And let's check the focus on here. Look, everything looks pretty decent through the phone, so I think I can have a seat and get this Saturday afternoon game of the week underway. Both pitchers, or at least Denny has a fatigue of 7. For some reason, Torres's fatigue is only a 5. I'm not sure why he's so brief on his fatigue. I would think he could pitch further than that, but that's just what the dice say, or what the charts say, what Strat-O-Matic rating says, I should say. All right, so again, we have the 38-18 Red Sox against the 30-26 Indians. Indians are 8 games back right now, but we've got a long way to go. And if they win this game, of course, they'll be down to 7 games back. So we'll see how it plays out. Mike Hargrove to lead us off here on a Saturday afternoon, game of the week, NBC style. 3-4 for Hargrove. That's a ballpark single right off the bat. And then, as we said, it's a 1-19. That's a 7. So Fenway Park just helped Hargrove get himself a base hit. Hargrove will be held, but he won't go anywhere. Roll the havoc for Torres, and there's nothing going on. Toby Harrah, 4-4. That is a ground ball shortstop X, and the shortstop in this case is Hoffman. He's a 2E24. 2-1, that's trouble. I do have my charts. I didn't forget them this time. 2-1 is still a single 1 star, and that's also a 16. That could be trouble for error ratings. 24 and a 16. Oh, a 15, 17, and 18 are errors, but not a 16. But it will be a base hit. It's only 1 base advancement for Hargrove, but the Indians have the first 2 runners aboard with nobody out here against Torres, and Torres struggling early. Both teams have about 4 or 5 bullpen arms that they can go to, so of course we're only in the first inning. You don't want to think about that right now, but it may come up. Nothing on the havoc. Here's Von Hayes, right fielder. 6-5 against a left-hander. The fly ball to center. That's 1 away. So Hayes is retired for the designated hitter, Andre Thornton. Nothing on the havoc. Here's Thornton. Torres could use a double play, actually. 4-5. Got another chance to get it. Another ground ball shortstop X. And again, Hoffman's going to get another chance. 2E24. 2-10. That's probably a fielder's choice. Let's see. Actually, no. 2-10 is a G1, so it would be a double play, but that's a 15 on the error check, and I think that might be his trouble. Error rating of 24. A 15 is a 1 base error, so he tried to turn the double play too fast, bobbled the ball, and everybody's safe. So Glenn Hoffman boots it, and instead of being out of the inning on a double play, it's bases loaded with 1 out, and Mike Torres, as well as Ralph Houck, not happy about the situation, and some of the Fenway faithful letting Hoffman know about it. Play that ground ball more like Philip Seymour Hoffman than he did Glenn Hoffman. All right, here's Torres. Bases loaded. They're still going to play back for the double play because they're getting those double play chances. They just have to convert. Ron Hassey, 5-2. That's a ground ball first base X. So now we have the first baseman Stapleton. He's a 2E14. 2-18 is a good double play chance as long as there's no error. That is a 13, and Stapleton's a 14. There's a 12, but there's no 13, so it's a good play. It's going to go 3-6-3, and Stapleton saves the Red Sox bacon there with the 3-6-3 double play, who he actually turned with Glenn Hoffman. So I guess Hoffman had a little bit of a reprieve there as well, making that fine pivot on the double play. Nothing doing for Cleveland. They leave them loaded. We go to the bottom of the first. Indians nothing. Red Sox coming to bat. John Denny finishing up those warm-up tosses, facing Remy, Evans, and Rice. Anybody gets on, Yastrzemski. Oops. 4-8 against Denny, and that's a 1-17 single, but that's an 18. So that's going to be a ground ball to first. So Remy can't catch a break as first baseman Mike Hargrove able to snag that and step on the bag. 1 away for Dewey Evans. 2-4, that's a walk. So 1 out walk to Evans, and he will be held. He will not go anywhere. I'm pretty much holding everybody, and I don't like to play the Strat-O-Matic system or try to game the system. When you look at baseball, I mean, unless it's a pitcher on the mound or the slowest running catcher of all time, pretty much everybody gets held on. So that's the way I just play it. I think it's the right way to play it. I'm not going to try to game the system saying prevent a hit and run or whatever. I'm just going to play it the way I would think they would in real life. It's just my style. Again, that's the great thing about the hobby. It's your game. You can play it any way you like. And there's no wrong way to play it. Here's Jim Rice, 3-7. Ground ball shortstop A. There you go, 6-4-3. So that takes care of that, whether he's being held or not. And since the Red Sox turned double play, Cleveland says we can join you with that, and they certainly did it. 6-4-3. And at the end of one, it's no score here at Fenway. Torres out to face center fielder Rick Manning. Veteran center fielder, longtime Cleveland Indian center fielder. He's been around for probably at least 6 years by now, maybe 7. 1-8, and that's a ground ball to short. This time Hoffman has no issues, and he makes the play. 1 down for Delaney. 4-5. Ground ball shortstop X. Mr. Hoffman gets another chance. Boy, just glutton for punishment, I guess. 2-24. 2 and a 6 should be okay. 2 and a 6 is a G2. And that's an 11 on an E24. There is no 11, so it's a good play. I'm going to memorize all of Hoffman's error ratings here after if this keeps up. I'm going to have to look at the chart. All right, here is Jack Perconti. Used to call him Perconti sauce. 3-12, and that is a ground ball to second plus injury, but I'm not doing injuries. Not in this one. So that's going to end the inning. So Perconti makes the last out. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Actually, I wonder if I should do injuries. You know what? I am going to do an injury on this. I am going to do an injury check. Let's go to the injury board. Because he started the game, so it doesn't mean he couldn't get injured in the middle of the game. So let's see here on the injury chart. I'm going to roll 1d20 and see what we get. That is a 9. 9 says he has to come out. So Jerry Remy will have to, I'm sorry, not Jerry Remy, Jack Perconti will have to be lifted from the Cleveland lineup, and looks like they can either bring in, looks like they're going to bring in Jerry Dybzinski to play short, and Fishland will move to second. So Jerry Dybzinski will come in and play shortstop. And his rating is a 4E40. And Fishland at second base will turn to a 3E32. So it kind of hurts them both ways there. But that's just what happens when you roll an injury. So in this case, Perconti is lifted. So he's out of there. Must have tweaked a hammy or something, I don't know. But the inning is over anyway. So we go to the bottom of the second, still no score. But Fishland had all those, or Fishland will move over from short to second. Dybzinski will get the extra warm-up plays before the inning starts. And what usually happens when a new fielder comes in is the ball finds them. So we'll see if we get some ground balls to Dybzinski right away to get him into the game. Here's Yastrzemski. 3-10, and that's ground ball to second base. So Fishland, his new position at second base, he gets the ball hit to him, and he makes the play. 1 away, and that brings up Carney Lansford. 4-8. That's a walk. Second walk issued by John Denny. Lansford will be held, but he won't try to go anywhere. He'll stay put. Stapleton, the batter. 2-10 for Stapleton, and that's damage done. 1-7 is a double. That's an 8-team. That'll be a single 2 stars, and that'll put runners at the corners. First hit of the game for the Red Sox, and they are threatening with runners at the corners and 1 out. Stapleton will be held, but he won't go anywhere. And Gedman's up, and Denny's looking for another double play chance. 1-7. Nope. 1-14 is a single. That's a 1. It's a single, 1 star. So Gedman, RBI single. Red Sox grab a 1-0 lead, and Cleveland might be ruining the fact they didn't score in the first inning when they had the bases loaded. Bases loaded, only 1 out, and they didn't score. That might come back to bite them. Here's Mr. Hoffman. He's been prevalent in this game already defensively, at least. His first chance offensively against Denny. 6-7. Ground ball second base X. Second baseman is Fishland. He's getting another opportunity. 3E32. 3-14. That might be a G1. 3-14. Nope, it's a G2. 15, and he is an E32. And he makes an error. So it's a 1-base error. So Fishland moving over to second base, but it didn't help him. He's made an error. Now both teams have committed an error. And instead of a fielder's choice, it's an error that loads the bases. So both teams running into shoddy fielding. And now with one out and the bases loaded, Rick Miller, the batter. Indians still looking for that potential double play. They can get it. Nothing there. 1-3. That's a fly ball right field. Could be a sacrifice fly chance. That's a possibility. Let's see. The right fielder for Cleveland is Von Hayes. He's got a -1 arm. And the run rating of the runner on third, Stapleton. Stapleton is a run rating of 12. And I believe you add 2 to that, but I'll double check that with the rules, but I think you add 2 to that on the B question mark. Let's take a peek ski and see what the official rules say about that on the fly ball question mark B. I want to make sure I get it right. Yep, +2. Oh, wait a minute, let's see here. Yeah, outfielder arm +2. Okay, so basically, take the -1 plus 2 means you add 1 to the run rating of Stapleton. He's a 12, he becomes a 13. So 1 to 13, he scores. Anything higher than 13, he's going to be out trying. And he's in there, a sacrifice fly. So Rick Miller, sacrifice fly to right field. Stapleton will score, and the Red Sox take a 2-0 lead. And that error comes back to bite Cleveland big time. That should have been the end of the inning, but it is not. 2-0 Sox. Here's Jerry Remy. That's a 1 chance for a wild pitch, which on Denny is a 7. No wild pitch as Ron Hassey blocked it. 4-9, and that's going to be trouble as well. That's a single, 2 stars, and that will score Gedman from second base. It's 3-0 Boston. Glenn Hoffman will go to third base. Runners at the corners, yet another unearned run, so that error by Fischlin is really coming back to bite the Indians right now. It's 3-0 Boston. Here's Dewey Evans looking to really put some distance between themselves and Cleveland. Denny, 5-5. That's a walk. That's going to load the bases. And Jim Rice, the 9th man to bat in the inning, is up. You don't want to face Jim Rice, particularly with the bases loaded. That can be not a good thing to do. Hassey out to talk to Denny, try to settle him down, figure out what they're going to do here with this at bat for Jim Rice. Got their strat. It's a 1, so you don't want a wild pitch and a run here. 1-7, it's a wild pitch. And it is a 7, so it gets by him while they were talking about what to throw. Forgot to block the ball in the dirt, and it's a wild pitch. And that will move the runners up. And it is now 4-0 Boston on that wild pitch by John Denny. Cleveland falling apart here in the bottom of the second. Denny, 2-7 to Rice. That's even more trouble. That's going to be a single, 2 stars, but with the wild pitch, it moved everybody up, so it's a 2-run single. And Denny is now tired. That's 6 runs he has allowed here in this inning. And the Red Sox have now batted around as they will now go to Yastrzemski, who led off the inning with a ground ball to second. Started so innocently with a ground ball to second. It's been trouble since. Nothing on the strategy. Denny, 3-5 to Yastrzemski, flies to right, and the inning's finally over. But 6 runs for Boston here in the bottom of the second. Many of those unearned, thanks to the error by Mike Fischlin. And now, Fischlin, you've heard the expression, the guy makes a great defensive play, gets to lead off the next inning. Well, how about a guy that goats the ground ball, cost him some runs, and he gets to lead off the next inning? They don't really talk about that very much. Now, all of a sudden, Torres is playing with house money. He's got a 6-0 lead. Even a lead I don't think Torres can blow. 1-10, ground ball to short. Hoffman again back in the fray, makes the play. Here's Hargrove. 1-4 for Hargrove, ground ball to short. Hoffman's going to get another chance. He's being kept busy over there. And that brings up Toby Harrah. 4-6, and that's a ground ball to third to end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the third, 6-0 Red Sox. And this could turn into one of those games where in about the 7th inning, they would switch to a closer game. But this is the only game in town right now, so I don't have the ability to switch to a different game. We're going to keep Denny in there. He is tired, so those dots do come into play now. But he's going to try to at least get him 3 or 4 innings if possible. 4-9, and that's a 1-4 single. That's a 2, so leadoff single for Carney Lansford, and those D20 rolls are not helping Denny at all. 6-0 lead. They won't even hold Lansford on, I don't think. Oh, yeah, they will. They'll hold him on. Still early in the game, and it is Fenway after all, so no lead is safe, I guess. Denny to Stapleton, 6-7. Ground ball, second base, X, and that's going to be Fischlin again. He gets another chance, 3-E23. And that's a 16, so a 3 and a 16. Let's see here, 3 and a 16. 3 and a 16 is a G1. And that's an 11. He is an E32. And he makes another error. Boy, when it rains, it pours. The E32, he found an error on the 15. Now he's found an error on the 11. So, boy, he's got a rough plane ride back to Cleveland after this. E6 or E4 again from Fischlin, his second error of the game in just 3 innings. And I believe the manager was Dave Garcia for the 82 Indians. I'm not sure, 100%. I didn't look it up, but whoever the manager is, he's not happy right now. And that brings up Rich Gedman. Runs at first and second, and definitely John Denny's not happy. That should have been a double play. That cost him 2 outs. 3-6, and that's a ground ball pitcher B. They get a fielder's choice. It's going to go 1-6 as Denny will throw it to Dibzinski. Lansford goes to third. Runners are at the corners with 1 out for Glenn Hoffman. And they're going to try to turn that double play if they can. 2 is a chance for a balk or a pass ball. We're checking the balk rating of Denny, which is a 5. 20, nothing going on. So here's Denny to Hoffman. 5-7, and that's a strikeout. So Denny gets the strikeout of Hoffman for out number 2. Infield back to normal deep position for Rick Miller. Nothing going on there. Miller. Denny to Miller. 5-7. Struck him out. So Denny figures the only way I'm getting people out is to strike them out because my fielders aren't helping me. So at the end of 3, it's still 6-0 Red Sox. And hopefully this game will get closer. I don't like to do blowouts, but just like Forrest Gump said, you never know what you're going to get when you roll the dice like this. Anything can happen. And I mean, who knows, by the end of this video, Cleveland may come back and win the game. It's hard to tell with these dice. Anything is liable to happen. Von Hayes leads it off against Torres. 5-7. That's a leadoff walk. Not what you want to do when you're up 6-0 to start walking guys. Hayes is a good stealer, but down 6-0. He's not going to go anywhere. He will be held, but he's not going to go anywhere. Andre Thornton, the batter. 1-5. That's a strikeout. Thornton is out of there. 1 away for Ron Hassey, the catcher. And Hassey hit into a double play his first time up. He's trying to avoid that now. 4-8, and he couldn't do it. 4-8's a ground ball, second base A. It's another double play. This one goes 4-6-3. First time he grounded to a double play was 3-6-3. This one's 4-6-3. And at the end of 3.5, it is Boston still with a commanding 6-0 lead. I wanted to check the focus real quick because I moved that chart in front. Thought that might blur something, but it looks like it's still okay from what I can tell. Again, one more time. Yeah, everything looks all right. Okay, bottom of the 4th, and Denny's going to stay out there. Again, he is subject to fatigue. So we'll see. I think if he hits fatigue roll, I'm going to go ahead and take him out. But unless he does, I'm going to keep him in there. Jerry Remy, 4-7 is a walk. Not what Denny wants. Remy will be held, but he won't go anywhere. Dewey Evans, nothing happening. 3-11 for Evans, and that's a single to right field. There is no clutch there. It's just a straight out single to right. And up 6-0, the Red Sox are going to play station to station. Fenway is kind of small, so it's kind of hard to get those extra base. Go from first, third on a single to right because right field's so close. So especially with a 6-0 lead and Hayes a -1 arm, why risk it? 2 on, nobody out for Jim Rice, and the Cleveland bullpen is loosening down there. They do have right-hander Bud Anderson in the bullpen. They also have left-hander Ed Glynn. So they got double barrel action in the Cleveland bullpen. Denny to Rice, 3-6. Ground ball first base C. That's going to move the runners up into scoring position at second and third. Now Cleveland's going to bring the infield in for Carl Yastrzemski. Infield will be in for Yaz. 6-10, and that's a ballpark single check, and that's a 1-19, so it's going to be a single. It's only 1 star. But Remy will score, Evans will take third, and the Red Sox now lead it 7-0. 7-0, and here's Carney Lansford. Denny trying to get out of this, wiggle out of this best he can, but I think he's about on his last leg. 4-6, he's going to walk Lansford, and that's going to do it. That's going to be it for John Denny. Garcia can't take any more, and we will get a new pitcher with Dave Stapleton coming in. They will go to a right-hander. And the right-hander they're going to go to is Bud Anderson. 3-4, 3.35 ERA. Did have 5 starts, but he is rated for both relief and for starting. So Bud Anderson, and it just wasn't John Denny's day. So Bud Anderson is on with the enviable task of trying to get out of this bases loaded 1 out situation. Infield is playing for a double play. 4-9, but that's not going to be a double play. That's a 9 there, so that's going to be a double for Dave Stapleton, and that makes this a 9-0 game. Lansford, as a trail runner, I guess could try to score, but I think with the score being what it is, they're just going to go station to station. So it is 9-0 Boston. 9-0 Boston, and it's just getting from bad to worse for the Indians. The infield again is going to have to be in for Rich Gedman. Nothing going on. 2-5. That's a fly to left field B question mark, but they're going to hold him there. Not going to, with the score being what it is. Although Delaney is a +3 arm, you would think they could try it. So I think we will try it. He's a +3 arm. They got to try it. The runner on third is Carney Lansford. Let's get Lansford's run rating. He runs at a 14. You add 2 makes it a 16. Then the +3 makes it a 19. So anything other than a 20, he will score. And he does. So it's a sacrifice fly to left field for Rich Gedman. That turns into a sac fly. And Lansford will score it. It is now 10-0 Boston. 10-0 Boston. Close the book on Denny. He's given up 10 runs in just 3 1/3 innings. Talk about not helping your ERA. So I'll bring up Hoffman now. Nothing on this strategy. Anderson to Hoffman. 3-6 pops it to third to end the inning. But 4 more runs score at the end of 4. It's Boston 10 and Cleveland nothing. And I tell you what, this is the kind of game that, since I'm doing this on recording and not live, this is a game that's very tempting to hit delete and start again. But I'm just going to play it out as is and let the dice fall where they may. Rick Manning to lead it off. If you're a Boston fan, you're probably loving it, I guess. 5-3. Ground ball pitcher X. Torres is a 5-E8, so he doesn't have much range over there. And this is his fatigue inning, by the way. 5 and a 6? That might squeak through for a hit. It does. It's a single. He's a 10 on an E8. There is no error, but that's going to be just to the side of the mound that Rick Manning's going to be able to beat it out for an infield hit. And that's the first hit by the Indians since they got 2 hits to start the game. So Torres had really settled down since then, and with a 10-0 lead. Easy to settle down. Here's Delaney. 1-7, and that's a fly to center. 1 away for Jerry Dibzinski. Nothing Nothing on the strategy. Torres, 5-7, and that's a walk. Don't want to start doing that if you're Torres. And Ralph Houck's like, get the ball in there. Don't go for the corners. Just throw it in there. Let him hit it. So here's Fischlin. Torres to Fischlin. 5-7. Another walk. Back-to-back walks by Torres. And now he is fatigued. So Torres, they want to get him through this inning so he can qualify for the win. He's got to pitch this 5th inning to get the win. He's got 2 outs to go. The bases are loaded with 1 out. And the Indians may be trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time. Red Sox are playing back for the double play. 5-7, and that's another walk by Torres. 3 straight walks from Torres. And Ralph Houck will not tolerate this very much longer. He's not going to worry about Torres getting the win, as he's not going to sit around and wait for Torres to walk in a bunch of runs. It is now 10-1. Base is still loaded with only 1 out for Toby Hara. Actually, 1 long ball, and the Indians are back in the game. 3-11. That's another walk. So 4 straight walks from Mike Torres, and that's going to be it. Ralph Houck says, I've had enough. You're not getting the win. No soup for you. You don't get the win. I'm taking you out of here. We're not going to play around with this stuff. So Torres is out of here. And we go to the bullpen. And let's see. They're going to bring in the lefty, Tom Bergmeyer. So Bergmeyer is on. He's 7-0, 2.29 ERA and 2 saves. But with the lefties coming up, they want to get out of this inning. And then they might go to a longer reliever like Louis Aponte. But right now, they're going with Tom Bergmeyer to try to get out of this inning. 2 runs are in. All of a sudden, it's 10-2. And 1 long ball can make it 10-6. So, got to be careful. Bergmeyer to Hayes. Again, they're back for the double play. 1-2. And he's got hit by the pitch. So, Bergmeyer comes in wild and hits Von Hayes. I don't think that was intentional. And it's now 10-3. Base is still loaded. 1 out. Andre Thornton. Nothing happening. 5-4. Fly ball center field X. I'm sorry, that's 6-4. 5-4. Ground ball third base X. That is Carney Lansford. He's a 3 E14. 3 and a 5. 3 and a 5. He is a G3, so the run's going to score. That's an 8. And he is an E14. There's no 8 there, but it will be just a 5-3 ground out with runners advancing. That's out number 2, but the run does score. It's now 10-4. 10-4, good buddy. As we had a CB game going on. And runners are now at 2nd and 3rd for Ron Hassey. 9th man to bat in the order. Bergmeyer trying to finish out the inning. 1-4 to Hassan. He does. It's a foul out to Lansford to end the inning. But 4 runs for Cleveland. All of a sudden, it's a 10-4 game. 10-4, good buddy. And as Ralph Houck knows, this game is not over. So Bud Anderson back out to face Rick Miller, Jerry Remy, and Dwight Evans to start the bottom of the 5th. I know it's a long game because there's a lot of runs. But hopefully you're enjoying your Saturday afternoon wherever you are. 3-6 for Rick Miller is a ground ball to 2nd. And Fischlin finally makes a good play, puts it away. Here's Remy. 5-8. That's a fly to center, so maybe Bud Anderson has settled down. That's 2 quick outs for Dewey Evans. 1-5, and that's a strikeout. So Bud Anderson coming in and taking care of business, clamping down, keeps the score 10-4. I know it's a 6-run game, but this is Fenway after all, and anything can happen. You start getting some of those ballpark single checks, and you can run into issues real quick. All right, Rick Manning to start things off. He led off the previous inning with a base hit. So he does here against Bergmeyer. 6-5. That's a ground ball to 2nd. Remy is there, 1 away. Here's Miguel Delaney. 5-6. Switch hitter batting right-handed. It's a ground ball to short. So maybe Bergmeyer can get it done. And here's Dibzinski. 212 against the lefty. He's going to walk. So Dibzinski draws the 2-out walk. That brings us to Mike Fischlin. 1, chance for a wild pitch. It has to be another 1. It is not. It's blocked. Gedman got in front of it. Here's Fischlin. 5-6. Ground ball to short. Hoffman makes the play, and the inning's over. So now we're getting some decent fielding and pitching for a change. Score still 10-4. But Anderson back out. He's got long relief, so he can go 3 innings at least. Certainly as well as he's pitching. He certainly looks like he can. So far, he's gone an inning and 2/3. Here's Rice. 3-5 for Rice. Struck him out. Actually, with all this offense, Rice has actually had a rough day. He's 1 for 4 with a single. Nothing else. So here's Yastrzemski. 1-8. And he lines out to short. All those hits in column 1, and he found number 8, which is a line out to short. So he's only 1 for 4. So Yaz and Rice, not the heavy hitters. It's the other guys that are doing the heavy hitting. Here's Lansford. 5-6. That is a ground ball to third. That's going to end the inning. So Bud Anderson, 2 shutout frames, and the Cleveland dugout is ecstatic. If nothing else, he's saving their bullpen. So now we go to Hargrove. He will lead off against Bergmeyer. This is probably Bergmeyer's last inning. They do have activity in the bullpen. They do have right-hander Bob Stanley is loosening in the bullpen. As we're getting towards later innings, Bob Stanley is warming up out there. Here's Hargrove. He's going to lead things off. 3-4 against the lefty. He pops to short, 1 away. And that brings up Toby Hara. 5-7, and that's a ground ball to short. He's not tired yet, so dot doesn't come into play. Since Bergmeyer has come in, he's hit a batter and walked a batter. He's given up nothing else, so he's still good. Here's Von Hayes. 1-7 for Von Hayes, and it's a fly to center to end the inning, and that's going to be it for Bergmeyer. I think they're going to let Stanley try to pitch the last 2 innings. Won't be a save situation, but Bergmeyer most likely would qualify for the win since Mr. Torres didn't make it through 5 innings. All right, Bud Anderson. Why take him out? He's rolling here. Might as well keep him in there while he's hot. Oh, forgot, 7th inning stretch. Do your take me out to the ball game, Sweet Carolines, or whatever you want to do. 1-6 for Stapleton. He's going to fly to left while that's going on. And Anderson now has retired. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's retired 9 in a row. Here's Rich Gedman, who had the sacrifice fly off of him last time. 5-4, and that's a catcher X, Ron Hasse. Hasse's a 3-E-3. 3 and a 1, that could be trouble. 3 and a 1 is going to be a single, so it's a little dribbler in front of the plate that Hasse can't get to. Even the slow-running Gedman can't. He can't get him. An 11 on an E. There's no error there, but how about that? Rich Gedman, while put it in a perfect spot that Hasse was slow getting from behind the plate, and Gedman hustled and made the infield single. How many times is Gedman going to do that? Nothing on the havoc. Here's Hoffman. 5-6, and that's a ground ball third base A. 5-4-3, double play around the horn. Bud Anderson definitely getting it done. So we go to the top of the 8th, and we'll get a new pitcher for Boston. It will be Bob Stanley. And on the 82 season, Bob Stanley was 12-7, 3.10 ERA, and 14 saves. Mark Clear also had 14 saves. They kind of divvied up the closer duty, but they're both multiple inning pitchers, so they're going to start out with Stanley. If he gets in any trouble, I'm sure Mark Clear will be coming in. But right now it is Bob Stanley. As we go to the top of the 8th, it is 10-4 Boston. And Andre Thornton, the DH, leads off. 5-9, and that's a ground ball to short. Boy, Hoffman's getting a lot of work over there at shortstop. 1 down for Ron Hasse. 1-4, and another ground ball to short. But I'm total up how many assists Glenn Hoffman has in this game, because he got a lot of ground balls to short for sure. Here's Rick Manning. 3-8. And that's a 1-18 single, so it will be a single for Rick Manning, a 2-out single. And that's going to send us to Miguel Delaney. Nothing on that. Here's Stanley to Delaney. 4-3. Delaney is a switch hitter batting left-handed. 4-3. Ground ball first base. X. First baseman is Stapleton. He's a 2E14. 2 and a 13 is good. E14 and a 9. E14. There is a 9 right here at first base. A 14. A 9 is a one base error. That's a 9. So Stapleton boots it. Second error of the game on the Red Sox. Both teams have now committed 2 errors. That keeps the inning going for Jerry Dibzinski. Now, do they want to pinch hit for Dibzinski? They could do that. I think they will. They're going to bring in Alan Bannister. And Bannister will take over at shortstop as well. He's a 4E34, which is actually better than Dibzinski. So he's a 4E34, but this is going to be Bannister for the pinch hitting. He's a better offensive player. Dibzinski at 231, Bannister at 267. So they're going for the offense. So pinch hitter is Alan Bannister against Bob Stanley as the inning continues after the error on Stapleton. 6-8, and that's a fly ball to right. Evans puts it away, and the inning's over. So we go to the bottom of the 8th. And I think Cleveland will now bring in a new pitcher. They figured Bud Anderson's done enough. So with the lefty coming up for the Red Sox, they will go to left-hander Ed Glenn. Ed Glenn, 5-2 with a 4.17 ERA and 4 saves. So lefty Ed Glenn is on. Bud Anderson pitched very well. Little struggles when he first came in to give up some inherited runs. Give up that double and a sacrifice fly. But other than that, he's been great. And so now Rick Miller will start it off against Ed Glenn, followed by Remy and Evans. So you got 2 lefties right in a row, hence the left-hander Ed Glenn. Bottom of the 8th, 10-4. Good buddy as the Red Sox lead it. 3-2 for Miller is a ground ball to second, and that's one away as Fischlin is able to make the play this time. 1 down, here's Remy. 6-5, lefty on lefty. 6-5 is a walk. A lot of walks in this game on both sides. Remy will be held, but it won't go anywhere. Dewey Evans, that's a 1, so that's going to be a wild pitch automatically on Glenn. He's a wild pitch rating of 20. So automatically a wild pitch was committed. Now we go to Evans. 4-9 against a right-hander. That's a walk. So all of a sudden, Ed Glenn running into trouble with some walks. And here's Jim Rice. Got to settle in here, Mr. Glenn. Nothing happening there. Here's Rice. 2-8 for Rice, and that's another walk. It's going to load the bases. 3 consecutive walks have loaded the bases. And this has been walk city in this game. Bases are loaded with 1 out for Yaz. They're going to play back for the double play. 2, that's a chance for a balk or a pass ball. Pass ball rate on Hasse is a 1. And there's no pass ball. So here's Yaz. 5-6, and he struck him out. That ends the inning. No, I'm sorry, that's only out number 2. Not bad, that's only out number 2. So we still got to get Carney Lansford. Still has to get Carney Lansford. Glenn to Lansford. 2-7, and that's a ground ball to second, and he does get him to end the inning. So a messy inning for Glenn. He gets through it. We go to the 9th. It's 10-4, and Bob Stanley looking to finish things off. We'll be facing Fischlin, who's going to come back for a pinch hitter, I'm sure. Or maybe not. He hit 268. The only pinch hitters they have left on the bench are Rod Craig, who doesn't hit very well, and backup catcher Bill Naharodny. So I think they're kind of stuck with who they have. It'll be Fischlin, Hargrove, and Hara against Bob Stanley, top of the 9th, 10-4 Sox. 3-4 for Fischlin. That's a ballpark single, and 1-19 makes it a base hit. So base hit for Fischlin. Here's Hargrove. Nothing going on there. 2-7 for Hargrove. Ground ball, second base, that's a double play. There's a plus sign, but the infield was not in. So it's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. Hargrove hits into the twin killing. And now 1 out from the end of this game. Toby Harrah. 5-10 against Stanley is a ballpark single. So Fenway again gives up a base hit. And Harrah's aboard for Von Hayes. 2-4 for Hayes, and he flies to left, and there's your ball game. Rice puts it away. Ball game is over. Red Sox win it by the score of 10-4. They won the real game 6-4. Let's see how many hits the Indians had. Did they get close to 9 hits? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They only had 6 hits. But how many Boston walks were there? Let's see. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 5 walks for Boston, most of them all in this one inning. Cleveland also had a bunch of walks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They had 8 walks, and Boston had 5 walks. I wanted to see how many assists the shortstop Hoffman had because he was busy all day. He got an assist here on double play. Second one here, third one here, fourth one here, fifth one here, sixth one here on the double play, 7th here, 8th here, 9th there, 10th, 11, and 1 on the double play makes 12. So he had 12 assists as a shortstop, did Glenn Hoffman. That's the ground balls were working for Boston, and Glenn Hoffman, when your shortstop has 12 assists in a 9-inning game, you know the ground ball pitchers are working. All right, let's take the hits for Boston to finish things out. By the way, winning pitcher was Tom Bergmeyer. Loser was John Denny. So let's see. Single. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got him for 8 hits. So 10 runs on just 8 hits, but there were 2 errors and 8 walks. And that pretty much sealed the fate of Cleveland with those walks and those errors. So that's going to do it here from Fenway. Game of the week is in the books for June the 12th. 10-4 your final. Winning pitcher Tom Bergmeyer, who came in relief of Torres because Torres didn't go the full 5. And losing pitcher was John Denny. So until the next game of the week, which will be on June the 19th, it'll be the Chicago White Sox going out to the West Coast to face the California Angels from Anaheim. That'll be the next game of the week. Of course, in between that, we'll have some Washington Nationals games. And then also Wacky Wednesday. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do for Wacky Wednesday yet. Probably something in either History Maker Baseball or Payoff Pitch. It's going to probably be one of those two because I did replay baseball last Wednesday. So I'm thinking it's going to be one of those two. And I just recently did Status Pro on Memorial Day. So I'm thinking it's going to be one of those two. So I just don't know what year it's going to be, but it'll be something from that date on that Wednesday, which I think is the 4th? Let's see, the 3rd. Let's figure it out. I think it's the 15th or 16th rather, because the 12th is Saturday, 13th is Sunday, 14th is Monday. Yeah, 16th. So whatever June 16th. I'm going to look up June 16th throughout the years and see if I can find a good matchup that occurred on June the 16th that I can use on either one of the seasons I have for Payoff Pitch or one of the seasons I have for History Maker. So it'll be one of those. But for the Saturday game of the week, next Saturday at 2 p.m. on June the 19th, it will be the White Sox traveling to California to take on those Angels. And as we go back and look at the standings, these could change between now and then, but those two teams are battling Kansas City for first place. So, and that's what I'm going to do. I mean, I'm going to look at the schedule and try to use what I think would have been the game of the week on Saturday afternoon, but as the season rolls along, I'm going to try to get show something that's more relevant to the pennant races as well. So I got to figure out what I'm going to do, but for sure, Chicago and California is next Saturday. So that's going to do it from here. Boston Red Sox fans go home happy as the Sox throttle the Indians 10-4 here at Fenway on Saturday, June the 12th. So that's going to do it from here. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.